Hello, welcome to my front yard where I do things so that I can be a better painter. And today's project is we're going to make a little miter box. And not just any miter box, but a specific miter box so that I can make my own frames, so that I can stretch my own canvas. I'm tired of buying store-bought canvas. It's really expensive. I think it'll be cheaper if I can make it myself. So we're going to do it. But I'm not a big giant fan of power tools. I like doing things by hand. And so, stand by, let me go get it. My latest acquisition. It's a Japanese handsaw. They're amazing. Instead of a traditional handsaw that cuts on the push, this one cuts on the pull. Not only that, they're incredibly sharp, incredibly accurate. I can't say I'm going to be like super fantastic with it, but they are something I've wanted to work with for a long time. This little guy is not cheap. It's $45, but I'm really excited about doing this. I have a traditional miter box. Hold on, let me go get it. Right here. You guys have all seen these. They're cheap. They're plastic. You can buy them at your general hardware store. These have a very big groove. I'll try to get a close-up of that. You put a traditional saw in, it'll cut a miter, but if you don't hold it right, if the saw moves at all, it's terrible. You get like wonky edges, and for miters, for frames, they actually kind of need to be two 45-degree angles that fit together. So I saw a couple videos where people made miter boxes with the Japanese saws. These are really thin compared to a traditional saw, so this will definitely not work in this miter box without a lot of movement. I've tried making frames with this miter box before, and it was horrible. And I guess I could go buy a miter saw, but those are really expensive. One of the cheaper ones that I saw that was like good quality was like $149 just as an entry fee, and that doesn't even include the battery system. This, while it costs $45, uses zero electricity. It'll last for a very, very long time, and I can just make miter cuts for here until eternity. Well, I mean, actually until it goes dull, without much setup if I have a proper miter box. So that's what I'm going to try to make today. So stay tuned. So this here is the plywood graveyard. I have lots of little bits and bobs that I use all the time for miscellaneous projects, and these are little pieces I have left over. I have a couple of pieces here of I can't even remember what this stuff is called, but it's like cabinetry grade plywood, and it seems to be in pretty good condition. So I have a couple of pieces of this, which we're going to use for the sides. And then when I was rummaging through earlier, I found this piece here. So obviously I'll cut this down so that it'll be just this piece. But I think with these three pieces and a little ingenuity, we can make ourselves a DIY miter box. This is all the equipment I think we will need for this project, and hopefully it'll be exceptional. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I have these two pieces here that will sit on either side of this longer piece. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the idea that I can have this here, that might actually be a little bit too wide. Just kidding. Let's maybe use this piece. That one might be a little bit better. I'm only really going to use this for making frames to stretch canvas, and then making small, very simple floating frames for my art. So I don't need a giant space for this. So hopefully this width will work for most of the lumber that I need. Plus my saw is only so big, so I need it to do its thing. So I think this will work. So because this piece is long and I've cut it before and I don't have a planer, I need to actually find a stretch of this that's actually straight on kind of both sides. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to be pretty close to straight. This actually looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece like a little bit bigger so that I can, when I'm working with this miter box, I can clamp it to the table here like this. So that way I can really kind of focus on holding, and then with it being a little bit longer, I feel like I'll have a little bit more leeway. So I've done kind of similar things like that before, so that's what I'm going to do. This is why I hate these saws. They're so hard to start. There we go. Okay. So we'll do something like that. But these two pieces aren't exactly the same height. There's a little bit of a difference. For me, for what I'm going to do, I don't really care that it's a little bit different. I'm not going to go through the trouble of making them even just yet. So what I'm going to do is clamp these guys together. So what I want to do is cut the 45s on both pieces at the same time so that they kind of match. This is kind of a weird setup. Okay, that's better. So that these two are flush. I just bought this thing today, and it came with this fancy scorer, which is kind of nice, because apparently with the Japanese saw you don't really need a pencil mark. They really do well with just kind of fitting in that groove. From what I hear, I've never actually used my saw. Oh, and the other thing I want to do is do a line like this and here, so that I make sure that when I'm cutting into this, that it's straight up and down. Okay, now I've got this set up. I'm gonna cut this with my gorgeous, beautiful Japanese saw. Just want to take my time with this, because if I screw this part up, then kind of defeats the whole purpose of this miter box. Okay, that looks pretty spot on for right now. I think that's as far as I want to go. This thing cuts like a dream. Not even gonna lie. So we've officially reached the point in the project where I realize the error of my design ways, and it's going to require a little bit of coffee. So the idea was to have these two pieces here, do them together so they match perfectly, right? But then put them on either side of the board, put the blade in here, put the blade here, and then mock these two guys up like right where they're at, and then screw them in here, hold it together, you know, make sure it's all perfect and 90 and blah 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 and do all the things. But then I realized I have this little saw, so it's not going to be enough. So I could either do two things. I could either put this piece in between, which would work a lot better because it wouldn't have as far to go. I could mock it up like this, or I just use one of these sides right here, and because this is a push saw, right, I could just put my work here on either side. It'll stay in place, and then I'll be pushing. But my worry is this. I guess presumably if I draw the line perfect and then maybe I make a 45 block here to go up against this. This would hold I could hold this little piece over my work piece, and then I don't have to worry about this much of this, so then I can have this here. And because it's a push saw, I'll be pushing in to this, so it'll be secure. So as I'm talking through this, I feel like that might be the better option, then, because I will have a lot more room, you know, as long as my blade were to allow, right? I could do pieces 2 to 3 inches. Probably will not really ever be happening, but it'll give me a little bit more flexibility. I think I'm going to try that first. If that doesn't work, then I can easily put these two pieces on this one, smaller piece, and then see how that goes. coffee break numero dos, número dos of error found. Coffee break time. Okay, let me show you. Remember how I painstakingly went through and made sure that I made a level line? Well, it's not. And I feel like I might be able to get back on track with this, but I might not. This side seems to be doing okay. So, since I'm mostly going to be doing canvases and framing, making frames to stretch canvas, and making some super basic floating frames, I don't think I need to have both of these sides. I think I can get away with just this one, and then I can just flip my work depending on what I'm doing. So I'm going to move ahead, try to fix this one with the saw, definitely keep this one, and see what happens. Looks pretty good. I think I salvaged this side. Like, you can't even hardly tell. That's like the saw line straight into the pencil line. It ends kind of right here, so I think this side works. Breaking news. I'd like to interrupt this regularly scheduled video to let you know that there's some breaking news. Things have changed. There's been new developments. Please stand by for updates. Okay, the big update is this is coffee break number 3. So when we last met, and by when I last met, that was like seconds ago for you, but an entire day for me, I was working on my jig, everything was working out. Then I realized I had a meeting at work I had to attend to, and the battery on my phone was completely dead, so I had to ditch this effort and then come back. So I made a sample cut while I was listening to my meeting. I couldn't film it because obviously I was listening to the meeting on my phone and I'm filming on my phone. So I put the two pieces together, and this is where coffee break number 3 comes in. Oof, that's hot. Okay. So I had these two really great pieces, and they fit together beautifully. Beautifully, beautifully. I wonder if you can see this. It works, and it looks beautiful, and everything is amazing. You're like, ooh, look at that edge. That's so great. Ooh, wow, look at how perfect that is. And then you look at it, and then if you look at it real close, this is not straight. This is not a 90-degree angle. It's a little off, a little wonky, as I like to say. So what I did to check my angle, I got a real 90 degree and put these here. You'll see it's touching here touching here. But look at this giant gaposis. There's a giant gaposis. This giant gaposis means that this cut, while beautiful, is not at a 45. So then I had a little time during my meeting for reflection. I did end up finishing this project yesterday. I am filming today. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. No, I'm not wearing the same shorts. And also I got a cute little haircut in between. What do you guys think? So I'm changed it and I came to realize my mistake. So let me bring you in a little bit closer so I can tell you. I cut it down perfect, and then the same thing over here on the lines that I had drawn before I put these two pieces together. It was perfect. But what happened is this wasn't quite 90 degrees. So it was off. I mean, now it looks perfect, but when I cut it, it wasn't. And it doesn't really take a whole lot of it being off for it to really affect the angle. See, like this one, the one that was perfect, is off by like a millimeter or two. And that may not seem like a lot, but like a millimeter or two over a distance of time makes a big difference, especially when it comes to like accurate angles. So what I did is I got my fancy device here. Now this is together. I just drew a new line. And then I did the same thing on the reverse here. And then I cut it. And then the other thing that I did, which I think was part of the demise during the last cut, when I was cutting, so when I had the blade in here, there was like a lot of movement because this blade is really flexible, which is one of the things I was kind of worried about. So what I ended up doing is I got another block and I used that to kind of help make sure that the blade was cutting on the angle that it needed to be. The other thing I was worried about was that I didn't have a perfect 45. I don't really have, I had this, right, but I don't think it was super perfect. So what I did was I just went old school and I got a piece of paper. This is 90, half of 90 is 45. So then what I did is I just folded this piece of paper over so that these two ends were exact, folded it over, and then I have a perfect 45-degree angle. So when I made this piece, I used the paper to draw this out. So that way I made sure that this piece here was a perfect 45. I got this piece of paper and then I just folded it right here along the edge, and then I could verify that this was a perfect 45-degree angle. So really simple, super low tech, but you know, math is math. It doesn't lie. So I did this, and then I cut it, like I said, with this little piece here to hold the blade, and then this one here to kind of hold it. This was clamped down, this one here to hold it, so that I could saw this and it would be perfectly straight. Okay, so then what I did is I got two pieces, and then I obviously clamped everything down. And then what I realized, the other thing I think I said wrong earlier, is I ended up putting it this way because this is a pool cut. This saw cuts on the pool. So I set this up down here with the back facing me. I put the wood here and then clamped it down and then cut my two pieces. And then look at this. I don't know if you can see this. This is beautiful. Can you see this? This is absolutely beautiful. This is perfect. This is perfect. An absolutely beautiful cut. Can I hold it together? No. But an absolutely beautiful cut. And then I needed to verify to myself that this is actually a true perfect 45. So I will show you. So the test that I had done earlier with the other one is I had these two here, and then I put in my, what I know is a legit 45, and then I put my 2 pieces of wood. Look at this. Look at this. Perfect. Perfect. All the way down. All the way down. All the way here. All the way here. And then this right here, look at this. I want you to look at this. Perfect. No gap OCs. There's no spaces. These two things fit together like a glove. It's absolutely amazing. This is perfect. Here's the other thing. I want to see if you guys can see. But like, look at how perfect that is. Let me get my paper. Can you see how perfect that is? That is like perfect. Like, tip is sharp. That's amazing. And then if we look in here, this is smooth. I did not sand this. This is just that smooth. This saw is absolutely amazing. It made just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous cut. Once again, look at how these two guys fit together. Absolutely stunningly perfect. Perfect. Right there. Right there. It's amazing. I'm so happy. Like, so genuinely happy. After one entire day and 3 coffee breaks later, I figured it out. I made the perfect little jig to make stretcher bars for canvases, and technically I guess they're not stretcher bars because they are not technically stretcher bars, but I made a perfect little 45 jig that I can use to make or to stretch my canvas, and also I can make some really super basic floating frames. So please stay tuned, please watch. If you found this at all helpful, obviously hit like, obviously comment. I know there's going to be somebody out there who's going to talk about my safety skills, my carpentry skills, all that kind of stuff. Did you know that I'm not a carpenter? Also, this is kind of a hobby. Also, I'm a doctor. This is just me futzing around trying to find a tool to make. And so hopefully if you found this helpful, please comment. Actually, if you do have some tips or suggestions, I will take them. I am going to make a video where I actually try to stretch my own canvas using this little guy right here. And then I'm also going to make a frame. I have 2 paintings that I want to frame. One is from my uncle, another one's from an artist that I love that I bought a print from that I want to frame. So I'll make a video of that too. So please like, comment, subscribe, be nice, be gentle, please. And hopefully you found this helpful, and happy painting, everybody. What'd you do? You get trapped? Here you go. Oh, you really did. Okay. Oh, wow, dude. What did you do? Okay, there you go. Set my dog free. Okay. Welcome to my front yard. Say hi, Luna. This is Luna in full view. Hi. Hello. Hello. No, you don't have anything to say? Do you want to say something to our 2 followers? Let's go. You want to say something? You gonna eat the mic? You gonna eat the mic?